It's never easy when it comes, but we can do our best to make it as efficient as possible. So that's what today's meeting is all about, with showing value. And I'm going to go ahead and start. Let me pull up the presentation mode. Can you see the screen, guys? Everyone can see it? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start by asking who would like to answer the question. Okay, I'm letting one other person in, and then I'm going to shut down for this session. Welcome, Joey. You there? Welcome, Frank. Frank is here. Frank is in the house. Welcome,
Hello,
Joey.
how you doing?
Yes, good to see you, Joey. All
Good to see
right.
you
So
as well.
um, we are on the first slide. So I just wanted to just reiterate, because we're not going to take anybody else in. We're shutting down, and I'm going to mention this 10 minutes after, we're just going to shut down because we don't want people to miss the information that I'm giving. So this presentation is all about being more efficient. So I encourage you all to have a notepad to take some notes. And if there is like a few scripts on here or snippets of scripts, take a picture of it so that you can keep reading it and rereading it and internalizing it and using this information on your showings. All right, so I was just getting ready to ask who knows the difference between showing agents versus buyer agents. Anyone want to chime in and answer that? Frank.
I would say the commitment and the careness compared to a buyer's agent to showing agent.
Definitely. The commitment, the dedication, and I think I have the official, hold up, no, I don't have it on here. Joey, go ahead and give your definition for showing agents versus buyer's agents.
So showing agent really, I guess, pulls up to just show the property and not really go forward after that. But the buyer's agent walks into the whole process. They need any questions and everything. I guess for showing agent for me, it's just like an assistant
Mhm.
that helps the buyer's agent.
Yes. And I just pulled up the definition here. It says a buyer's agent will guide you through the home buying transaction and be at your disposal for any questions or concerns. That's somebody's definition. But yes, it's definitely more of having a consultative approach. Showing agents tend to be a little bit more transactional. Let me show you these homes. And then they usually get that information back to a buyer's agent that's going to be able to consult on the differences between the two properties and do some research on those properties. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Joe, you have another question, or your hand is just up
Oh
from
no,
before?
I'm just gonna put it down.
Okay, awesome. All right. So this presentation is definitely interactive. So I'm going to be watching out for your hands being raised. Matt, if you can also watch out too, and just interrupt me if somebody wants to ask a question or add some information to this time together. All right, so it's all about providing an A+ experience for the client, and also having that realtor for life mentality. So many people, they get so caught up in, is this a good lead or is this a bad lead? I'm meeting with this client and, oh, they're not ready to buy right now. So we need to have the mentality of, this client is just the seed. You guys hear me say that all the time. This is the seed to growing my book of business. This particular person might not be ready to buy right now, but they could buy 3 homes next year, sell their home, buy a house, buy an investment property. You never know who you're meeting. That's why this presentation is all about first impressions, lasting impressions, because these people are going to buy a home, and their friends and families are also going to buy a home, and their coworkers and everybody in their sphere. And you want to be the one that they always have top of mind. So to know them is to grow with them. So what we do is we ask, what we do is the buyer questionnaire is going to be so important. We're going to ask the questions to get to know them, to be able to dig a little deeper. And what does this do for us? This helps to save us time and money for the client as well as for yourself. So, and everybody knows right now, everything is super expensive. Gas is expensive. Everything is expensive. So you don't want to just go to a showing and just give up on that first showing and say, oh, I'll get to them. I'm not going to follow up with them. I'm not going to nurture them. Everybody that you meet is somebody that you want to have for life. That's what I want to make sure you keep that cemented in your mind. All right, on to the next screen here. So whenever you meet with the client, what's the first thing that you want to say to them? Well, not necessarily the first, but during that meeting, what is super important for you to ask them? And it's the screen tells you, but how do you ask them? What invitation do you give to the client for a consultation?
Well, especially if our original call, they mentioned to me that, this is their first house they're purchasing, I would restate that and, let them know, hey, when we originally spoke, you told me that this is going to be your first property that you're going to be purchasing. Has anyone sat you down and explained the process to you? That's you.
I love that. I love that. I love that question. And I always say it and I put it on this screen as well. Has anyone taken the time to sit down and go through the buying or selling process with you? Has anyone taken the time? And what does that mean? That means time is valuable, right? So I'm willing to spend my valuable time to sit down with you and go through the process. So there you're already showing some value to the client that you're willing to spend the time with them to answer their questions. Buying a home, as you already know, is one of the biggest investments that a family can make in their lifetime. So when we're talking to them, we want them to know that, listen, this is not like just going to the grocery store and buying a loaf of bread. This is important. This is a big investment that you're making for your family. So we need to take some seriousness in this process, not just go to one realtor and then to another realtor. No, it's not like going to the grocery store. This is something that we need to take some time, go through the process, find out exactly what you're looking for. And we would literally be able to save you hundreds of dollars to thousands of dollars in time and money by sitting down. So when you tell them that you're going to be saving them hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars, they're seeing additional value there. Now, what I always like to say is that most agents will have you looking at dozens of homes. Why am I telling them that? Wasting time and gas. Why am I saying most agents will have you looking at dozens of homes, wasting time and gas? What's different about me? Anybody want to answer that?
I'll answer. So when we have the consultation and you narrow down and tell me exactly what it is that you want, we won't waste that time. I know exactly what you want, exactly what you're looking for, and so we can eliminate wasting all that time.
Absolutely. And in other words, we're saying, listen, I'm not going to be showing you 50 homes. I'm telling them that up front. I'm not going to be showing you 50 homes because the valuable time that we're going to spend together will get to the core of what you are looking for so that I can pinpoint your search. I'm telling them that up front. So the expectation is that Frank is going to sit down with me, and although I see 100 properties on the screen, Frank is going to narrow it down to the top 10. And then you're going to pick the top 4 for us to go view. So when you tell them that and you say, would you find that to be helpful? And they say yes. If they send me 20 properties to view or 30 properties, I'm going to say, remember when we talked about saving you time and gas and making sure that we pinpoint what you're looking for in your search. So I got 30 properties for you, but let's go through and just narrow it down to the top 10. I don't want you to become confused. I don't want you to be, just going from Miami to Broward to Palm Beach. Like, we're setting the expectation. And it's very, very important that you do that. Otherwise, the clients will have you all over the place because they're going to be confused. And then guess what's going to happen? It's going to backfire on you because they're going to say, that agent had me all over the place and I just didn't have any direction and I was just confused. They're going to go to another agent that's going to be very, very focused and get them on the path to picking a home. So don't let that be you, where the agent is saying, oh, that agent that I was working with, we were just all over the place, because that's what they will say. So the other thing that you want to point out to them as far as what value you're providing is that we are a one-stop shop. So we're going to save you valuable time. We have the contacts that consistently provide the best service. And we also have a proven track record for a successful closing, so that they know our high standards. They know our high standards for our partners. Our partners know our high standards, so that we can have a seamless, stressless process. So there's a few things that I'm saying in here that if you're not already saying this, we're missing an opportunity to make sure that these clients get focused. We're missing an opportunity to make sure that these clients stay with us. So having that question, whether they say, yes, somebody already went through it with me, but asking that question is very important. Letting them know that it's the biggest investment that they're ever going to make in their lifetime. And it's important for us to talk about it, save them hundreds to thousands of dollars. Telling them always that there's other agents that's going to, they're going to send you 100 homes and have you all over the place. Dozens of homes, wasting your time and gas, but this is not how we work. We work this way. We pinpoint what you're looking for, come up with the top 10, and you pick 4, and we go from there. All right, so very important. Any comments on that? Any insight on what we just discussed? What do you think, Joey?
I think it's great. I feel like if at that first meeting that you have with them, you're not really digging into their motivation on why and when they're wanting to find that property, then you yourself are wasting your time driving gas, and as well as, saving yourself some showings and knowing exactly what they want and by the time they want it.
Exactly. Thank you for that. All right, so moving on to the next screen. Managing expectations along the way. So we talked a little bit about that, but we want to make sure that they know it's still a seller's market, because if you don't let them know that before they get to the offer process, then you're going to have issues with the negotiations back and forth, because then you're going to have clients asking for you to submit an offer 100,000 under the asking price. So it's important that you tell them now it's still a seller's market. The activity is increasing, not decreasing. So what does that mean? That means sellers are getting what they're asking for. And many times they're getting above what they're asking for. So you're planting all of these things in their head. Also, the client will come back to you and say, well, I saw on CNN, I saw on MSNBC that this is a slow market. Make sure you're ready to tell them, well, they're in Atlanta or they're in New York. They're talking about the winter months. Florida is a unique market in that we do not have slow winter market. We have no signs of slowdown. So you will get that where they'll come back and say the news told them something else. All the major financial institutions, they predict increase in sales and prices. So they have to understand that the sellers are not giving away the homes. Even foreclosures, I can tell you most of the clients, they think even now that foreclosures are selling for $1. And I saw that on the news the other day, couple days ago, there's a city, I guess it was in Detroit or somewhere, one of those depressed markets where they're giving away homes for $1. It's not happening in Florida. Foreclosures many times are multiple offers and above. So you have to help them to understand that as well. Then the other thing you want to let them know is that most homes are being sold as is, and the sellers are taking backup offers. So this is just a reminder for some of you, but if you don't remember saying these things to manage their expectations whenever you meet with a buyer, you're going to have difficulty and challenges when it comes to putting in an offer and the negotiation process. I like to also say that even new construction homes can have repairs that are needed. And are you open to doing minor repairs? Because we get stuck during the inspection period. They send a laundry list of repairs because we didn't tell them up front the home is a resale. If you want a perfect home, which you're not going to get, if you want as close to perfect, then you probably want to look at new construction. Sometimes I hear people say, I don't want a used home. I don't want a home that anybody's lived in. Okay, let's start looking at new construction. Let's check newhomesource.com and find some options. Right now, especially, is a great time because they have many special programs, 5% commission, 6% commission. So, check those out before you make it available, because if they're focused on a certain area, you might not find any options in those areas for new construction. So do check. Now, the other thing you want to say, because sometimes they'll send you properties, and when you did your questionnaire, they said they did not want a pool. Now, if they send you properties with pools, you got to make sure you tell them. Don't just jump in and make appointments. Make sure you go back to them and say that you had indicated you do not want a home with a pool. So we're going to focus on the homes without a pool. And these are the homes that we will go ahead and schedule. Remember, I'm here to represent your best interests is also another thing that you should let them know, because sometimes they get confused. They think you work with the seller, but showing them the value of working with you, that you're here to represent them, is very important. All right, preparing for a showing. When it comes to preparing, you're going to want to know what to say to the listing agent. You're going to want to do the property research. I also am going to go over what to bring to the appointment. You need to know a little bit about the area, which you can easily access. There's so many different apps, such as Realist, where you can know the neighborhood. Talk a little bit about that and get an idea of the range of values. Sometimes if you are printing out the MLS, or if you have an iPad that you can just make, I don't know if you have one of those with the pen that you can make some notes on the MLS sheet. Put down a range of value for that property. Hopefully you're not showing more than 4 or 5 properties so that you can do that quick research. So you're prepared. When they say, well, how much do the homes go for in that area? You're not scrambling. You have it written somewhere in your package. Okay, so now confirming the appointment, what to say to the listing agent. Let's make sure that whenever you are showing a property that you try to get in touch with the listing agent. Some of you on this call have reached out to me. I've partnered with you to stalk the listing agent. Very important, because you don't want to get to the property and find out it's already under contract. Okay, then you wasted your time. But in addition to that, you want to know if they received any offers. It's very important. And I always say, have you received any offers? My client is very interested in submitting an offer today. When will they be making a decision? Anybody know why this is important to say to the listing agent? There's a couple reasons. Who wants to jump in with that? William?
I'll jump in.
Oh, Joey. Go ahead, Joey.
Okay, so maybe that they've already received offers and they're looking to come to a decision that day. And you telling them that you're very interested, maybe we'll hold off a couple of days or two, and maybe your offer will be the one that they like better.
Exactly. It's kind of like curiosity killed a cat, I guess is the statement that they say. It's probably not the best statement to say, but um, definitely if I, as a listing agent, get a call from a buyer's agent that says, listen, my client is super motivated and they're very interested, they're going to be coming in with a good offer, I for sure am going to try to find a way to tell the seller, hey, you might want to hold off because I think a better offer is coming. So that's why it's so important to get in touch with the listing agent. William, you have a comment?
I was gonna say, well, I did my first, I guess, in-person tour on Monday, and my client was, I was trying to get in touch with some listing agents,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to use the tactic of saying very interested client because they were not responding. But the second I said I had a very eager buyer or a very interested buyer, they respond immediately with the questions I need to know.
Yes. Looking to put in an offer, that will get them back back to you right away. Very interested, motivated, looking to put in an offer ASAP, you should get a response. Now, if the value is looking off, you're pulling up the MLS and it already looks like it's off from what else you're seeing in the area, then I always like to tell the listing agent, my clients would like to meet with me to go over the comps. And I know that you know this area very well. I know you're the area expert. I found a couple of comps, but nothing yet that supports the listing price. Can you help me with a couple of comps? I want to make sure that we come in strong. So now when I say that to a listing agent, what do you think is going to happen? The listing agent's not going to be offended. Some agents will call you and say, listen, you overpriced this. Now, do you think I want to help them? No. But when you come with saying, can you help me? Because I want to make sure that we come in strong with an offer, you'll find that the listing agent will be much more apt to want to help you. So that's very important. And sometimes they live right in the neighborhood and they know a sale that happened that wasn't even on the MLS. So that's why utilize the listing agent to get the information that you need. Now, what I would also say, because if you have a client that they're like, listen, Sunday, I need you to get this property. No matter what happens, I need this property. So what I would say to them, because I know I'm going to probably come above asking price, I'm going to say, aside from price, Miss Listing Agent, is there anything else that the seller is looking for that would make our offer the winning offer? And sometimes they might say, well, you know what? If they could stay for 3 days after closing, that would be very helpful. Unless you ask, you don't know. And maybe they gave that information to another agent and now that agent has the advantage. So ask this question, aside from price, is there anything else that the seller is looking for that would make our offer the winning offer? Because Miss Listing Agent, I expect to have a smooth process and be at the closing table with you and celebrating over this closing. Just help, try to become as, what would you say? Because there's so many agents out there that's just mean. Try to be as nice as possible, as likable as possible when you're speaking with these listing agents, because they remember that. Yes, the seller is choosing, but guess what? The listing agent does have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence. So making friends with that listing agent is very, very key. And even if some listing agents are just not that friendly, so like you don't want to be annoying, but Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, and that also helps because at the end of the transaction, like the closing I just had, I had the listing agent. He wanted to write a review for me, and that helps our business, as much as it does from our clients. But yeah, just building that
Wow.
relationship with the listing agent is great.
Wow. And then do a review back. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
did.
There are
Yeah.
there's some good agents in this business. So, so yeah, that's great to hear. The other thing that I like to do for my clients, which also puts you in a very good position, the listing agent will consider you to be very professional, is to make sure you read the remarks before you go out to these properties. Because sometimes the clients don't, they're just looking at the pictures, you know, hey, I love that kitchen. They didn't read the remarks. And then there's remarks that we have that they don't have access to. So when you're going into the property, you want to have that information to discuss with them. But I like to find out from the listing agent, I say, I read the remarks. I know that it can be limited because there's only a certain amount of characters that you can get in the remarks. So I say, is there anything else about the home or the community that you know of that I can share with the client? And these questions that we're asking can happen one after the other. It's not going to take you a lot of time, but guess what? You're going to be super prepared to give this client a lot of information that other agents probably won't have. So very important. I'm going to move on. The property research, knowing the area. So make sure that you're checking the MLS for, especially if you have a day set aside or a morning or an afternoon set aside to show them a few properties. If that's the case, don't be in a position where you're passing another home on the street, another sale, because they're always going to say, did you see that sign down the street? Can we look at that one? So check the MLS, check the neighborhood, know what else is for sale. I think on Zillow, there's a way that you pull up the app and you can see everything on the street. Make sure that you have access to the Zillow app on your showing, that you can be able to pull it up and say, yes, that home down the street, it's under contract. So that one's not available, but this one is fully available. I spoke with the listing agent. They're not making a decision for another couple days. Like, just be knowledgeable. Okay. And then I already talked about speaking with the listing agent about what they could share about the neighborhood. But then with the condos, I know many of you have a lot of experience now. You guys are almost experts on the condos and the assessments. So just confirm if there's any upcoming assessments and whether there's association fees. Sometimes the price could have changed a little bit. And remember to highlight the things that are within that area that matches the client's lifestyle. So if there's an LA Fitness nearby, they love to exercise, they love to take walks in the park, there's a doggy park, try to see if you can find out that information by maybe pulling up Realist. You'll be able to see the list of things that are in the neighborhood. And for relocation clients, let me just show you something that I do for my clients. I didn't pull it up yet. Let me just grab it for you. What I've done in the past is I have had clients that call me and they say, listen, I want to move to the Weston area. And I want to get to know the Weston area, because it's not all about the house. Sometimes it's about the community. So what I would do, and I'm just going to do this live with you now, because see here, share. Where is the other? Oh, here it is. Share. Okay. Where is my screen? Uh-oh. Which screen are you looking at, guys? Let me stop share. Oh.
Looking at offer details.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Let me try again. Got too many screens. Share. Okay, here we are. All right, so what I do, which is easy, they're interested in the city of Weston. I pull up the city of Weston, or any city that you want. Maybe they're interested in 3 cities: Weston, Parkland, Miami Beach. I pull up the city, and what I do is I go to residents, and other cities might have a different variation, but I go to the visitor's guide. And I would pull up the visitor's guide and I'll send them an email. Maybe I'll do a video just highlighting some different great things to do in the area. But the visitor's guides are here for them to be able to review and see everything about Weston, all the things that are happening, all of the restaurants, dining, shopping, personal services. Where's the nearest, salon, floral design, rent-a-car, barbershop, and pretty much every city will have these guides. All the banks, all the hospital, urgent care, houses of worship, lodging, supermarkets, everything is here. And then they'll have the events that are happening during the year. And then they have the maps. So this is great to put in an email and send to your relocation clients, especially the higher end ones that are like corporate relocation clients. This is very interesting to them. So do not miss the opportunity to be more than just a person that's showing them homes, but also acknowledging their lifestyle. Very important. All right, let me get back to my
Melissa, you said that was called the visitor's guide?
the visitor's guide. Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay, thank
and most cities will call it like the visitor's guide or ebook or whatever. And many times I would go into YouTube and I would find people sometimes will share different things on YouTube about a particular city. So I'd send them some links. Hey, check out these links to get to know the city a little bit better. And then also I'm sending you a visitor's guide. You know, you don't have to send the link to the city. You can just send the visitor's guide. I was able to get the visitor's guide for Weston and Parkland for you to review. Let me know if there's anything else you need for me to do for you. So that's just providing that little extra. All right, so let me pull up this again. Okay. So moving on, what do you bring on the showing appointment? So it's very important that you bring the buyer consultation. I like to have the consultation on the iPad. It's just a little bit easier to go through the different slides without things falling all over the place, because sometimes you have to do a driveway consultation. And also bring your buyer information package, which that will include like the Keeping Current Matters buyer guide. We also have the buyer intro. Has anybody pulled up the buyer information package that we have on the drive and given that to their clients? It has like a letter to the client. Let me just go ahead and pull that up. Anybody familiar with that?
You know,
Nobody?
I I always print it out and I give it to my client, but I never had the chance to actually
Review it?
yeah.
Okay. Let me just quickly. Just real quick, buyer. Okay, here it is. All right. So let me share this with you because you each have your own folder with your buyer guide. All right, so here we go. So let us pull up Frank. Okay, your success package. It's called Buyer Success Package. Okay, if you're not utilizing this, it's in there for you guys. And it's very, very great information for your client. In addition to having that consultation, it talks about like welcome. You see your pictures here. It's from you. Then it has a table of contents with our mission, our pledge to you. You don't have to read all of this to them, but you know, read a couple pages. Our aim is to provide exceptional personalized service. I want you to know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is what means so much to me, is that I want to help you attain your goal. When you have conversations like that, to make them know you're not a transactional agent, you're a relational agent, it's going to be important for the longevity of your relationship with them. And then this is our pledge. It walks you through walks the client through what we're going to be doing. We're going to be helping them with some of the research. We're going to be using our resources to find them the information, find them properties, even homes that are not on the market. We're never going to pressure you. We're going to tell you the hard truth, even if it's something you don't want to hear. Like it's good information to help manage their expectations as well. Okay. We always return your phone calls. We always say, I don't know if I don't know, and make our best effort in obtaining answers to your question. So It walks them through the home buying process, which you're going to do during your consultation, but it digs a little bit deeper to make sure that they know, if they see an advertisement, call me. If you see a for sale sign, call me. For sale by owner, call me. New construction, call me. Like, it just walks them through that. A little bit about list prices versus home values, so that they understand the market. If it's, if there's a list price, chances are it's going to be a little bit above fair market value. I'm sorry, if there's a list price, chances are that may or may not be market value, but what you actually get under contract for may be above market value. So it's just having that conversation with them is important. Why are they going to hire us to buy a home? Because of these reasons, because of our experience, because they're a human being, not just another number. So, very important. And then negotiations and our responsibility to them through the negotiations, how we manage the closing process. This is important too, because many times they have no idea what the closing costs are going to be. And we're not telling them this is exactly what it's going to be, but we're letting them know this gives you an idea of what you're going to be paying for your mortgage fees, your inspections, just to give them some context. And then the team advantage, they're seeing that you're not alone. You have a full staff that's behind you to make sure that their dreams come true. Some of the Zillow reviews are here, not extensively, but there's a few. And then what are the next steps? Answering some of their questions, their frequently asked questions. All of that is in here. So I encourage you guys to go in and read through this. Take some time to read through this so that you know what you're giving the client, okay? All right, so let me get back to the presentation. Where am I? Okay, oops. Lord help me, where am I?
Hey, Melissa, I got a comment
Yes,
on that.
go ahead, go
And I
ahead.
definitely don't, if we're running behind on time, I can wait till the end. If that's a,
No, go ahead, because I'm fighting to find my
pertaining-
screen. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
it's pertaining to that packet. So like I mentioned to you, I usually get a EXP folder. I put that packet on one side, and on top of that, I put the process wheel, and then on the right side, I put the MLS sheet, and that's pretty much what I give to them when I meet them at the property. I've never, went over that particular packet. I usually go over the buyer's consultation, the experience, and most of the time, because that's obviously that consultation starts off with, letting them know, this is about your needs, your time frame, your wants, and certain things like that. And then what's also in that consultation, it talks about, your commitment and your mission and, the transparency that you're going to be giving to the client. So, I
So this
don't,
package, I'm not telling you you have to go over that too.
okay.
Just, yeah, I would suggest that you
Yeah.
include that in your package if you can.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot of pages that you're giving to a client, but maybe not on the first one, maybe on the second one, but just read through it, and when you think it's appropriate, you can give it. It's not a requirement, but it does have some information in that one that maybe the consultation doesn't have. So usually I would do the consultation. I would say, hey, I also have a buyer success package in here. I'm going to give you a little homework. So I want you to go home and read through it, because this is going to make you even more prepared for the next steps.
I agree. And I think it would be way more effective if I find a way to use mainly use the consultation, but also
Yes.
take little things out from that success package. Because there was,
Yes.
additional information that the consultation just doesn't have for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for sharing that. So you already talked about some things. I didn't even put the flow chart on here, but I think that's very important, because I like to just go through that flow chart so they can visually see the beginning to the end. I think that's very helpful. The Keeping Current Matters buyer guide, and then the house hunting checklist. Crystal was talking about this at the last sales meeting, which we have a house hunting checklist, but there's so many different ones. But I always like to give the client something to kind of make notes of the property that they're looking at, because after they see 3, they start getting confused and mixed up. So let me share the house hunting checklist. Matt, did you share this with the client, with the agents already? Maybe you already did.
Crystal shared it in the training.
Oh, okay. So this was
training
Chris,
channel.
yes. So this is one that Crystal shared with us. Thanks, Crystal. And so I think it's the exact same one then.
You're
Um,
welcome.
Yes, so this will be, I like this one. This one has, oh, it has a lot of details on it. So just review this. I think it's on the drive now. If not, we'll make sure that it gets on the drive, but as Matt said, it was shared on Slack. So you can go ahead and grab that and start utilizing that as soon as possible. Now, there's another sheet that I would encourage you, and Matt, if you can share this on your on Slack as well. There's another sheet that see, I don't think I put it. Okay, I'm skipping a couple of slides and I'll go back to it. My Zillow, our Zillow rep, shared this with me, and one of the top teams that's like crushing it with their offers, they saw that by using this detail sheet, their offers have increased up to 20% by doing something super, super simple. And what they did was they started making the clients feel very comfortable about crossing that threshold to putting in an offer. And what does that sheet look like? Okay, before I share that screen with you, what they're saying is this a house that you would consider putting in an offer for? And they say yes. Okay, this is what the next steps look like for submitting an offer. And I'm going to show you the sheet. If they say no, well, this is what it's going to look like. And so even if they say this home is not the one that they want to put in an offer for, just making them feel familiar about the offer process helps them to feel that much more comfortable with putting in an offer soon. So I'm going to ask that you make sure to incorporate this in your showings. If you're not asking every time you show a home, unless they say, oh my God, this home is trash, let's run. If they are walking through and they're considering it, don't just automatically discount it because they said, oh, well, this is not, this is not big enough, or this is not exactly the way I wanted it. Still ask them, is this a house that you would consider putting in an offer for? All right. And then this is the offer sheet. Okay. Okay, we were just looking at this. Okay, you guys see it? So, so this is what she sent me. We're going to update this to our team information, but we can say when we get to the next home that you want to put in an offer for, I'm going to need to know, who's going to be on the deed, what's the purchase price that you want to offer, how much can you put down for earnest money, what type of loan, send me the approval letter, and whether you're asking for closing costs. No, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're probably not going to get it, not in this market. Home warranty, do you want to ask for a home warranty, yes or no? Or we have connections for a home warranty, and that this is the time that you can explain, because this is already starting to save some deals where we tell them about the home warranty the presentation that we had last week, that for $500, they can make sure that their appliances and their AC and all of these things are working. So by having this conversation with them up front, what do you think is going to happen when we get to the inspection? They're going to think about, oh, well, I'm going to get a home warranty. That'll be taken care of. So this will help with the process a lot more, whether they want to remove the appraisal contingency or have an amount that they want to waive. So just going through this sheet with them to say these are going to be the next step with the offer. Maybe even if they're interested in having a copy of the contract up front so that they can review it, that's fine. But usually when we send the offer, we send that summary sheet and they're usually fine. We don't usually have any issues with that. But you can say, once I fill out these offer details, my office is going to prepare the offer and they're going to send it to you to review and to sign. And then I'm going to get it right over to the listing agent and we're going to start negotiating, so that they can feel a comfort level and they don't have any anxiety about what the next steps are going to be. Okay. All right. Moving on here.
Melissa, are they filling
Yes.
that sheet out at the location?
No, we're just basically saying this is what it's going to look like. So, you know, unless they're ready to put in an offer on that property, then yes, we're going to start filling that out with them to say, how much are you going to offer? You know, just start writing it in. And they're not filling it out, we're filling it out. But they're seeing, you know, that we have a list of things that we need to complete.
Okay.
And we're gonna, before we put this in the drive, because I just got this today, we're going to add a few things to make it match our summary sheet a little bit more. And, you know, just put like some questions on here as prompts for you guys. All right, thanks for that question. So, the showing journey. So it's very important that you, oh, wait, hold on. I skipped a few. Okay, so now's the time that I was going to do a video about property sequencing. But before I get to property sequencing, I want to talk a little bit about showing etiquette. It's very important that we are super professional with these clients. And why is that important? Well, I can even do a search for you and I can show you what the clients are thinking they're going to meet, who they think they're going to meet when they go on these showing appointments. These are the people super, you know, you guys with your pictures on your business cards look super, super professional. And that's what the clients think they're meeting. Today, I heard a client say that they did not want to work with this agent anymore because he showed up in shorts and a t-shirt. It sounds simple, but it's very important that you are professional when you meet with them. First impressions are lasting impressions. So let's make sure that we're super professional when we meet with them. We're very courteous. Remember, we're not just showing properties, we're representing our brand, our personal brand and the team brand. All right. And you want to be sensitive. There's certain cultures that have certain nuances as far as, you know, certain religions, they don't shake the woman's hands, or, you know, there's some that they will bow or whatever. Just be aware that if somebody is not shaking your hand, that chances are it might be a cultural thing. And there's this book, if you guys want to read a little bit more into it, it's called Kiss, Bow, and Shake Hands. It's an excellent book to get to know different cultures and different countries, how they interact when it comes to business. Very important, guys, and I hope you're all listening right now when it comes to privacy. I can tell you that I've had, as a listing agent, very, very interesting conversations with sellers that have listened to conversations on their Ring doorbell, that have observed agents inside their home, because they have cameras everywhere that you don't even see, going into their fridge, drinking their whatever, opening up things, checking, you know, rifling through their personal effects. Even if you do not see a camera and you do not see somebody there listening in, chances are there's somebody listening in, because curiosity, gets the sellers every time because they want to know what you're going to say. They're listening for you to say something. Joey, you have something to add?
Yeah, so I just have a question
Yes.
that came up when you said that. So what if we're showing a home that, this owner occupied? Are we allowed to, like, what if our client's like, oh, can I just like see this cabinet? Like, how do we know
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
allowed to open
Oh,
certain
yeah.
cabinets or something? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, no, that's not the issue. I'm talking about people that go into the like in the bedroom, going through their drawers and looking around for stuff. Let's not do that. But it's normal for people to be in the kitchen, looking in the cabinets, making sure they're in good shape, looking under the cabinets. All of that is normal stuff. So yeah, but just be careful about what's being said. And it's important for you to also advise your clients, remind them before you go inside, say, hey, listen, when you're having that conversation, that intro conversation where you're meeting them, hey, just be aware that sometimes there can be a Ring doorbell, there can be video. So let's just hold back, make notes on your sheet of any comments. And then when we gather back together, we can have a conversation about them outside of the earshot of the seller. All right, so just be aware. That's what this is really about. All right. Okay, so driveway conversation is what I was just talking about. This is a good time to tell them about Ring doorbells and video. But do not rush into the showing without trying to make a connection first, especially an open house. You can be in jeopardy if you don't make that initial connection in the driveway before you enter an open house. The agent in that open house may make the connection first. And I've seen that happen. So, in all cases, try to have like a little brief conversation to say, hey, this is what we're doing today or something when you're meeting them in person. The property overview, what I just said, we're looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I like to play a little game of how much do you think this property is worth, or not worth, but what do you think the sales price is? But some people like to just tell them up front, this is the price. So whatever you feel works best for you. But managing expectations again is what's going to be important to kind of guide them on where they're going during that showing period. All right, showing process expectations. So just a little detail on that process. We're going to be looking at this home and I'm going to be staying out of your way. Make sure they're walking in front of you. You can follow behind them and just let them know that you want them to freely check everything out and you're going to be making notes. We're going to be meeting back outside by the car or whatever to discuss what you like and don't like about the property. And the buyer home checklist is where they're going to be keeping track of the features that they like and don't like. If this home is a good fit, then we will have a chat about the next steps for putting in an offer. So right away, we're letting them know that in the process of showing you homes, you're also going to be putting in an offer on one of these properties very soon. Okay, we talked about that already. Okay, so arriving early to that first showing is super important. Please, please, please do not be late. Don't be the one that has to show up and say, I got stuck in traffic. It really does not look good. So I know traffic can happen, but that's why you should leave super early to make sure you don't run into traffic. If it's like around the 5 o'clock hour, you already know there's going to be a lot of rush hour traffic. So just allow for that. Make sure you leave early so you can get there, turn on the lights, make everything presentable, walk through the property, get a feel of the floor plan so that when you come out, you're super prepared to answer their questions. You have a warm welcome. You have the driveway speech where you're talking to them a little bit about the process, and just make sure you're being safe. Be mindful of your positioning. when you're walking through the house. Like I said, you want them to walk first, you walk behind, and be mindful of your surroundings. Okay, so I am going to play a video. It's going to be about 10 minutes or so about overcoming buyer objections. Not. It's a David Knox video. He's one of our great trainers that we have. Sometimes he comes to our sales meetings and he speaks. He hasn't done that in a while, but we really love the way he puts things together with these videos. So I'm going to share that with you and then we'll discuss. Hold on a second. All right. Okay, here we go. You see my screen, Matt? Okay.
I can see it.
Okay, thank you.
It's a sounding board. And then the question might be, well, shouldn't I respond to that? But, you know, is it fixed? No. And no need fixing it. Seems dry now. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's gonna rain though, right?
Could,
Yeah.
might leak, but I wouldn't worry about it. Welcome to another Knox First Tuesday, Overcome Buyer Objections Not. Over the years, so many salespeople ask me, what do I say when a buyer raises an objection? The bedrooms are too small, too far from the freeway, too high price, a million objections. And you're all looking for what to say, what to answer, one snappy answer. And my answer to you has always been, maybe you don't have to answer at all. But I want to demonstrate 2 ways to respond to buyer objections. We hired a local actor, Dave Deniger, who's worked with us in a lot of videos, and he plays the role of the buyer. So this is a role play, and we're going to go through a home, and he's going to raise objections, and I'm going to answer him. You tell me how you like my responses. All right, Dave, this is our second home on the showing today. I'll give you the feature sheet when we're done, but before we go in, why don't you tell me how it feels to you from here?
Well, it's not bad. The yard's kind of small. It's just street parking, or is there a garage?
Yeah, it's, there's a garage out in back that we
In
can
the
see
back.
as well. Yeah.
Okay. The neighbors are kind of close, I think.
Well, but that way you get to know them a lot better. And what the heck, you know, this is kind of how what this neighborhood does. That's how close they are.
Okay. Colors are all right. I don't like the shutters.
You don't? Okay.
Can those
Well,
go away?
sure, you can just take those shutters down and have it repainted.
The lawn's a little spotty, but I guess that can be worked on.
Sure, just put in some, we can cover that with grass and put in more fertilizer and that should solve that problem.
A lot of traffic on the street. There's airplane.
Yeah, but it doesn't come that often. And you know, that's kind of what you get when you live here. Yeah, we are on a flight path, but you know, you want to be in town, you're going to be close to the airport. And the pricing here kind of reflects that.
Yeah.
Then after a while, you get used to it, so it's really not that bad. I mean, that's just kind of what goes on here. You want to go and take a look at the inside? Sure. All right. Before we go in, I just want to show you the side yard.
Yeah.
How's that look to you?
Well, I'm not a fan of chain link fences, that's for sure.
Well, you could probably just tear this out if you want, just pull it out, put something else in, maybe cement or brick. You could do something like that, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, and I see the lawn is full of creeping Charlie now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fix that. And that's pretty easy to do. We've got some guys who can turn you on, they can fix the lawn for you.
The windows look right on the neighbors.
Well, but when it later in the year, that kind of covers up and maybe you don't see them or you just pull your shades. I mean, that's always a way to fix that.
Yeah. Well, the dining room's kind of small. I mean, we like to have dinner parties and this isn't large enough for our table. I mean, we normally have 8 to 10 people in here. You never fit them in
Well,
this area.
Just put in a smaller table perhaps and have them sit on the side. Some people use tray tables, you know, can have them maybe sit in the other room. Maybe that'll work.
Are these floors, have they been redone? Are they finished?
No, you're gonna have to do those, but it's pretty easy to do and we can give you a name of a guy, come in and refinish them for you and match these.
Okay. What else you got?
Tell me how you feel about the kitchen.
Well, it's nicely finished, but it's really small. My wife's a baker. She would love to have a double oven, but there's no way to fit one in here.
No, no way to fit one in here. She's just gonna have to use the counter space that exists.
Couldn't fit an island in here, that's for sure.
Well, you know what you could do is just get one of those rolling carts and put it in there and roll it around. And when you're not using it, roll it back. That might solve that.
Yeah. I guess that might be a solution.
Yeah, well, this is what you get in this area. You know, that's what you get. If you want a bigger kitchen, you're gonna have to pay more.
Great,
Hey, Dave, this is the first bedroom, top of the stairs.
right? It's a little small. narrow.
Small, what did you, too small, how, what way?
Well, we'd like to get our two boys in the same room.
Oh,
that
let's
big.
put bunk beds in here, just stack them up.
Yeah, then they have less room. It's very, what is this, a 9x12?
You know, it's whatever, it's this big. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and just stack them up, put them in bunk beds, what the heck, they're gonna spend most of the time downstairs anyway, so don't worry about it, won't be a problem. So how do you feel about the garage?
Well, they have a lot of stuff in here,
Yeah, they do, but you know, that's something get taken out of here, it'll come out later.
but it just shows that there's not enough storage.
Well, then maybe you can just build some more shelves. A lot of people put stuff up there, you know, put those stairs that come down. You could probably do that.
Well, I don't like the fact that it's not connected to the house.
Right. Well, then you might have to put in a walkway to that or, you know, but that's these homes, none of them are connected. So you're going to have to just get used to that.
Great, okay. Got a lot of work to do.
Yep. So how did you like that response to a buyer objection? There's a lot of agents who think that's the way you ought to do it. It was annoying. It was painful. It was horrible. I violated not only the rules of being a salesperson, but of even being a person. I was rude. I was confrontive, and it just makes buyers mad. So please don't do that. And by the way, at the end of the interview, I asked Dave, I said, even as an actor, how did you feel about it? Here's what he had to say.
Any objection I came up with, you made an excuse for the house, the
Mhm.
homeowner, and that made me very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Made me ornery. I wasn't happy about that. Made me not want the house even more.
Even though this was a role play and you're getting paid to act, did
Yeah.
you feel it on the inside?
Right, because you're objecting to my objections. I have a valid point. You're not
Yeah.
taking it.
All right, you just saw how badly a showing could be handled. You heard what the buyer thought about my response, even though he's an actor. He had real feelings to it. Now I'm going to take you through a much better way to handle a showing. In fact, when you incorporate that into your showings, I want to hear from you because you're going to tell me that you laugh, you smile, because it's so much fun to completely let go of buyer objections. Let's take a look at role play number 2.
Well, it's a pretty nice sized house. The neighbors are kind of close.
Uh-huh.
Is it just on-street parking or is there a garage?
There is a garage in the back, yes.
Okay. Well, you know, it's nice looking, I guess. I don't like the shutters
Okay.
on the windows. But, you know, other than that, the color is all right. And is that an airplane?
Yeah, it's an airplane and headed over to Minneapolis.
Right. Does that happen often here?
On this flight path about every 2 minutes.
Okay. The yard's not bad. It's kind of small, but
Mm.
I guess the grass needs some work.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a big fan of chain link fences.
Really?
Well, they don't offer any privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And the yard's full of creeping Charlie.
I know.
Yeah. I don't like how the windows look right on the neighbor's house.
All right.
So I don't know what can be done about that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Can we build a bigger fence here?
Well, we could take a look at some of the regulations on fence height for you. So if it turns out to be one you like, we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
All right, well, let's go inside.
All right. Dining room's kind of small. We like to have dinner parties and
Mhm.
usually have 8 to 10 people at the table.
Oh,
but
okay.
This would never fit our table.
Oh, okay.
And there's no closet for your coats when you
No,
walk
there's
in.
not a closet in this home.
Are these floors finished?
No, this half is not.
So I would have to have that done.
Yes.
Okay.
How would you handle the dining room situation if you were entertaining here?
Is there more space around the corner?
This is it. So this is the space in which you'd have to make it work.
I guess we would have to make it work. My wife is a baker. She would love to have a double oven, but there's no way to put that in here.
Oh, wow. Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So if you were to live here, what would you do about that?
Can we bump out?
That's a question for a contractor. We can certainly look in that. If you decide you like this and that's an option, we can take a look at that.
I don't know. It's a nice space. It's just small,
Okay, all right.
small. We were hoping to get our two boys in one bedroom.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if this would work.
Let's say you decided to buy this home. What would you do?
I don't know. Well, you know, bunk beds would be the first thing that we'd
Okay.
look at, but
Would that work? Would you consider that?
no, they might have a problem with that. I guess we would try to figure out what our options would be. Maybe get rid of the desk and just figure out the furniture.
Okay. And how do you feel about the garage?
Well, they have a lot of stuff in here.
A lot of stuff.
It just proves that there's not enough storage, I think.
Well, if you take a look, how does it feel to you? And what would you do if you moved in here?
Well, I'd have to add more racks to the back wall here.
Mhm.
But the floor is cracked and that has me worried. Is there a drainage problem?
No, and that's something we can certainly check into, take a look at the disclosure, but I will say that in this area, typically garage floors, just from the cold here in Minnesota, they do tend to do that. But if it's more of a concern, we can have an inspector take a look to your satisfaction, because I don't want to be the one to answer that.
Okay. And it's, well, the garage is not connected to the house.
Yeah,
That's the
that
big
is
thing.
true. The garages in the neighborhood are detached.
Okay. Well, we just know that going in, right?
Mhm, that's right.
Okay.
Wasn't that a more pleasing way to handle a showing? You just let go. They raise an objection. Nothing you say is going to make the bedrooms bigger, the dining room bigger. It's not going to fix garage floor. Nothing you can say will make things better. So why not just let go? Listen, acknowledge what they say. You have to show that you care and that you're interested, but you don't take sides one or the other. You acknowledge that they raised an objection.
You affirmed that you heard me. You even had some options for me for some of the big objections or
Okay.
problems that I had. And that was, more comfortable. And I felt like, well, at least you listened to me and I was heard and, made me settle down and just look at the space for what it was. And I think, the objections are there, letting people just voice them. You're talking out loud to someone that's a sounding board.
And then the question might be, well, shouldn't I respond to them? I want to show you in the next role play, we're going to do two ways, where at the end of the showing, I'm going to ask Dave how he felt about the home and watch what happens. All right, Dave, you got a chance to see the entire home. I heard you raise some, very valid issues. So my question is, how do you feel about it on balance?
Well, overall, I like the house.
You do,
Yeah, there are issues. I don't like
Yep.
the airplanes, that's for sure, but
right?
not much you can do about that.
Okay.
The location is fabulous.
Okay.
Small bedrooms and
Mhm.
just, it's cozy, but I think we could live with that.
You
and-
can do, okay.
Yeah, so I like it.
So based on that, would you like to submit an agreement to the property?
I think so, yes.
All right, well, let's go sit down and do that. I'm
All right.
glad you like it. One of the most important parts of that role play, and in real life, you'll find it to be true, he bought it anyway, objections and all. And I've done role plays in audiences where I ask agents, I said, what did you not like about your home? And they come up with 5 or 6 or 7 objections, but they bought the home anyway. So when you're done with the showing, you say, on balance, how did you feel about it? And if they say they like it, they want to buy it, then aren't you glad you didn't raise the objection? Now, if there's technical issues like a floor disclosure, things like that, yes, you deal with them. But at the end, they say, well, we like the place. You say, great, let's buy it. And you're done. Now, what happens if they say they don't like it? Take a look at this. All right, Dave, you got a chance to see the home, and I heard you raise a lot of very valid issues on balance. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's a nice house and I love the location. I don't like the airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just too small for us.
All right.
And, on that, I don't think we could buy it.
Okay. So we're going to rule this one out.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. Well, great. Let's go take a look at another.
All right, great.
What difference does it make? They're not going to live there anyway. So in essence, my philosophy is ask them about the home. If they say the bedrooms are too small, then don't buy. Oh, but we like the kitchen. Well, then buy. Well, we don't like the jet noise. Well, then don't buy. But we love the location. Then buy. I don't mean to be flippant. It's like, do you want to buy? Do you want to not buy? Just let me know. I already have a home to live in. And I've done exercises with audience members. Then you can do it after this meeting. I ask every one of you who own a home, go back to the moment you bought it. Were there things about it you didn't like? And I'll bet you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that you didn't like about it. And I'll say, well, but you bought it, didn't you? And they'll go, yeah. And I'll go, well, why? And the answer will always be an emotional answer. People raise objections to the logic, to the bedrooms and baths, but they buy on emotion, the emotion they feel, the love, the school district, whatever it is, there will be an emotional answer. And as long as the property satisfies the feelings of a buyer, they'll live with some of the other stuff that they bring up. So I hope this helps you work with buyers. You've seen some great demonstrations. If you want to see some more fun ones, stay tuned. We shot it.
Okay, there's some great bloopers on there too. So I encourage you guys, you all have access to David Knox training. You can go in there and watch some additional videos. But let's talk about a few takeaways. Let's maybe 2 takeaways from that video, what you learned or what stood out to you. Who wants to volunteer?
I'll go. It's me, Josie.
Yes, Josephine, go ahead, Josie.
So I like the part about, not talking too much, because, I guess, we all do it. Like, you want to agree with the client, or you always want to say something, give your 2 cents, and it's just better to shake your head and say, uh-huh.
Yes. And I can't tell you how many times I walked into a home and I was like, oh my God, this home is awful. And they're like, I see a lot of potential here. And they actually buy the home. So that's the key takeaway for me, is to keep your mouth closed sometimes, to kind of hear their issues don't always mean rejection. William, go ahead. Thank you, Josie.
Okay, so I had my client, he thought he knew what he wanted, but he didn't really know what he wanted. So when we were looking at properties, he was looking at them and then he asked me, what do I think? And then I didn't really want to give him an answer, right? I was like, what do you like? How do you feel about it? Like I just try to keep redirecting it to him, but there was a couple times where he would ask me what I thought, and I was like, I don't really know how to.
So thank you for bringing that up. So the first thing, when they ask me what I think, I'm still going to redirect it to what they think, because I already know, I already did a questionnaire about what they're looking for, right? So I'm just going to match up my response to what they said in the questionnaire or any of the questions that I ask. So I say, hey, you mentioned that you were looking for a home with a patio, and this one has a very nice patio. And I also think that you were looking for certain things in the kitchen. You were looking for a certain amount of space in the bedroom, and all of these things seem to match up. So what are your thoughts? That's how I respond. So I'm not giving my personal opinion. I'm basically reiterating what they said that they were looking for and how this matches up to what they said they needed. And then redirect to, hey, what are your thoughts? Thank you, William, for that. All right, so I want to stay within my 6:30, so I'm going to move on to the next few slides here. Let me share. All right, so we want to make sure that we affirm that they are heard. That's one of the other takeaways. We do not want to ignore their concerns. We want to acknowledge them. If asked a direct question, we provide the answer, or we say we will find out for them. Make sure you don't say something that you don't know and then you have to take it back later. And the other thing is, you could say, actually it's one of the things that he said was, if you couldn't, would you? So if you couldn't, oh, I forgot what that part was about, but I think it was because if it didn't have certain features, I think that's what that was about, but I'll get back to you about that because I kind of forgot what that line was about. Josie, do you remember what that was about when I talked about it last week? I think it is, if you could. Okay, you don't. So I got to remind myself what that was about. If you couldn't, would you? But I'll get back to you guys on that. Let me move on. Now, when we get to the end of a showing here, there's one or two things that can happen. They can put in an offer, or we're going to have to put them into nurture if they're not ready right now. If they say, listen, I just wanted to take a look at this property. I'm probably not going to be ready for the next 3 months, find out what their motivation is. And so you might have to nurture them by showing them other areas, getting them familiar with other communities. So you still want to do the consultation. You still want to introduce them to the team, and just walk them through the process. Very important. Now, I want to mention this because it's so important. At some point in your career, you're going to run into a situation where you might show the property and they didn't tell you they had an agent. They go to their agent and try to put in an offer. So this is the steps that I want you to make sure you do every single time to make sure that you are, that you have the documentation you need if we have to file for procuring cause. It's always important to schedule an appointment on Show Assist. That way you have a documentation that you showed the property. If you have any issues after that and you think that they are going to put in an offer, make sure you speak with the listing agent, because we can tie up their sale if there's a procuring cause issue. So many times I speak to the listing agent and I say, hey, listen, I showed the property and they're talking about putting in an offer with another agent. We're probably going to file for procuring cause. Chances are they won't accept that offer because they don't want any trouble. So if you suspect an issue with a client submitting an offer with another agent, call the listing agent ASAP. Let me know as well. Always follow up with the client, documenting all of your interactions with the client so that you can show it wasn't like you were just at an open house and they showed up. No, you had a conversation, you did a consultation, you met with them, you did some research on some other properties, whatever it may be. That's where notes come in very, very handy. So document. So I have one last video that I want to show you guys regarding property sequencing, and then we're going to take some questions. Let me just make sure that I got through. Okay. All right. So property sequencing, let me share that with you now. It's another David Knox video that I think you'll find very helpful. If you have not watched this video before, or even if you have, you're going to want to watch it again, because how you show the properties, the order that you show the properties are also very important. A lot of this has to do with psychology. A lot of it has to do with the fact that this is a very emotional experience for people. So you want to make sure that you utilize all of the strategies that are out there. So let me share. Okay, here we go. We're not watching the whole thing, just this part about sequencing.
Establish the range. So you take them to D and they go, wow, this isn't very good. Then they go to C, wow, this is better. See, honey, the longer we look, the better they get. Then they go to A and they go, wow, this is wonderful. This is the best one we've ever seen. I love this. See, the longer we look, the better they get. I can't wait till the buyers tend not to believe for sale prices, but they absolutely believe. And you describe, you describe it as 2,500 square feet, whatever. And you turn to the and you can't show them the price. Have them get out of the car and look and say, what do you think this sold for? And what?
My apologies. Hold on. I had this the correct place. Let me get right. Okay, here we go.
Likely to buy. D is the one they're least likely to buy. Now, remember, you're not showing them 1,000 other horrible homes that don't match their needs. You're going to show the 4 best homes, but this is the one that they're probably going to like the most. So my question to you is, in which order, in which sequence would you show these homes? So let's take a look at some options, and I'm going to do 3, 2 extremes and the one I think would work best. One extreme, people say, well, let's just show home A first. Why not show the best first? So go A, B, C, D. They don't know this is home A until they see B. Follow me on that? But nevertheless, you walk them into home A and they're going to go, oh, wow, this is really nice. This is a great start, honey. Oh, wow, look at this. We're going to have a fun day. Yeah, we like this home. Let's see what else there is. They go to home B and they go, oh, yeah. It's okay. I guess this is kind of nice. And then they get to home C and they go, well, I don't know about this. I think we're going the wrong way. And they get to D and they go, oh, no, we're going the wrong way. Oh, man, the first one we saw was the best. And then they say, we're not going to buy the first thing that we saw. Your father would kill us. All right, forget about it. There is an inherent psychological resistance to buying the first thing that they see. So do not ever put the best home first. So then you say, well, all right, how about we do this? Let's go the other extreme. Let's go to D, C, B, A. And you walk them into home D and they go, boy, this isn't a very nice home. Boy, this isn't a very nice start. How much is this home? Is this all we're going to get for this kind of money? Oh, man, we got to keep looking some more. And then you take them to home C and they go, well, yeah, this is a little bit better. Yeah, that's just it, honey. See, the longer we look, the better they get. We just got to keep going. Well, this is okay. I see why you showed it to us. How about this? Oh, this is much better. Oh, honey, this is fine. The longer we look, the better it gets. And then they go to home A and they go, this is great. I love this. I can't wait till the next one. You see what you've done? You see what you've done? You ruined it. Now they want to take a look at all the other homes and they're going to look forever and ever and ever. Have you ever gone to see Vegas, a slot machine stopped on all sevens? You ever see that? No, you'll never, ever see that. They're going to pull one more time. I just want to see if I can get something even better. I mean, they'll take the payout, but they're still going to go ahead and spin one more time. So then you're thinking, well, what the heck should we do? You do a combination of both. And I want to be very careful. You're showing them the best 4 homes. This can be misused in a very manipulative way, and I do not want you to do that. You're going to pick the 4 best homes. You have to choose a sequence. Oftentimes it's geographical and you don't have a choice, but if you have a choice and if you can, here's a concept for you. What you would do is go D, C, A, B, basically reversing the 2. And what we want to do with showing the worst first and worst in quotes is you're establishing the parameter. You know, the low and the high, establish context, establish the range. So you take them to D and they go, wow, this isn't very good. Then they go to C, well, this is better. See, honey, the longer we look, the better they get. Then they go to A and they go, wow, this is wonderful. This is the best one we've ever seen. I love this. See, the longer we look, the better they get. I can't wait till the next one. So they're still going to go see another home. But this time they go to B and they go, well, this is nice. No, I like this. So you have established context. You've given them permission to buy A. And it's a great way to use the law of contrast to help people understand that A really is A. Remember, if this is the best house, don't you want them to know that? And my question to you is, how do you know this is the best house? Come on, how do you know? You know, because you've seen all the other homes. So in context, you know it's better. So you have to have the buyers come to this conclusion the same way you did. Now, not see thousands of homes, but maybe 4, 5, or 10. Number 4, engage their emotions. Purchase of real estate is emotional, followed by logic. You want to give them a benefit appetizer. In fact, even before the showing, say, Mr. Buyer, I've got a home.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap it up here. I'm going to ask as we close this out, we're closing on time, great. I'm going to ask that you each give me something that you're taking away that you're going to implement into your business. Let's start with William.
Using the buyer's packet. I should start using that more often.
Awesome, awesome. Using the buyer's packet, very important. We're showing them that we have the expertise. We're showing them that we're making sure that they have all of the information that is necessary to have success. Thank you, William. Josephine?
I want to start doing that showing sequence.
The showing sequence.
Yeah, to try to reel them in quicker.
Exactly. Awesome. So, and you have access to the David Knox, so I think you'll find the whole video, watching the whole video, to be very helpful as well. Joey, what would you like to make sure you implement?
So I like to implement more touching base really deeply on their needs with the buyer consultation. So I'm not wasting, my time and their time when we go forward to view the showings.
Exactly. Have them focused based on what you are able to come up with in the questionnaire. Thank you, Joey. Sunday.
You calling me?
Yes. So I was asking what out of what you learned today will you implement in your business going forward?
It's the showing, how to do the showing, all the material you need to bring.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Sunday. Shakita, you there? Shakita might have gone on an appointment. Well, thank you guys.
Nope, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
I was trying to. Yeah. I would implement the showing checklist because I really like that. I really like that.
Yes. So some great things for us to increase our conversion. So I encourage you guys, make use of these downloads, make use of the information that was provided today to ask for the offer and make sure that they are prepared. They get rid of that anxiety of putting in that first offer by going through what the offer is going to look like to make it easier for them to transition from I'm thinking about a home to offering on a home. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate you guys contributing to this meeting this evening, and I wish you all a happy evening. Take care. Bye, everyone.
You as well.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Thank you.